that you are here. And then at the end, like always, I will go ahead and go through and welcome everybody and answer any questions that we have. So tonight we're going to talk about emotional hunger, how to deal with emotional hunger, and oftentimes what happens with fasting and emotional hunger. And we're kind of going to define and clarify the different kind of hunger signals that our body sends us. And I'll share with you a little bit about what some false hungers are, and then what real, like, physical need hunger is, and how we deal with that. So welcome if you're new. Like I said, make sure that you leave me a comment in the comment section so that I know that you are here. If you're new, hit the like or subscribe button again so you'll be notified when we do go live. I know there's been several questions about how to get notified when we go live so people can jump on live with us. So subscription for sure, and then making sure that you've liked the Facebook page. And then know that Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we always do our best to show up here live and answer any questions or comments that have come up through the week. So my name is Diane. If you are new, I have been helping women for the past 25 years develop fitness programs and nutritional plans to help them look and feel their best, and most importantly, live their most authentic life. And here in this community of amazing women, we are doing that through the process, or I guess philosophy, of intermittent fasting. And we deal with some of the issues that come up through some people, our participants, or women who are going through our course. And then I like to address those most commonly asked about or talked about situations here on a live broadcast with y'all. So tonight we're going to talk about emotional hunger. We've been talking about emotions and food and dieting and fasting pretty much all week. So I thought tonight I would touch on emotional hunger and how it is that we as women tend to deal with hunger. So just to kind of catch you up, if you missed the first couple of broadcasts this week, we talked a little bit about some of the emotional situations that stir up when we start doing something like intermittent fasting. We talked about how it is that if you have been sort of an emotional eater throughout your life as a woman, and you start doing something like fasting, and you're denying purposely and safely opportunities to use food as sort of a tool for yourself to kind of starve off some hunger, some emotional situations that you have, then when you're fasting, those emotions can actually surface unexpectedly, and we need to kind of be aware of them and learn how to deal with them so we don't revert back to some of the habits that we've had in the past, as far as sort of feeding that emotion that's a little raw for us, and we haven't learned basically how to deal with those yet properly. Then we talked a little bit yesterday about, why it is that we're always seeking out someone to tell us what to do with our food, and why it is that we haven't learned as women to sort of stand on our own 2 feet and make nutritional decisions for ourselves based on what it is that our needs are, maybe what our lifestyle is, and what it would take for us to live our life authentically around food. And that when we rely on other people to provide us with a cookie cutter of what we're supposed to feed ourselves, then it's really easy to find blame in someone else and not really accept the responsibility for ourselves and the food choices that we're making. So today we're going to kind of wrap the week up with talking about emotional hunger. So emotional hunger is a real feeling. It is a sensation that we get oftentimes when we're feeling stressed out, or maybe we're dealing with some sort of emotional pain. And food is used as a drug, and it is the thing that we can sort of use as a way to satisfy ourselves or numb a feeling of pain or stress. It's not a physiological need or something that we necessarily are demanding as far as a survival type of hunger. It's usually just emotionally set. We can use hunger oftentimes when we're trying to quit maybe a bad habit. So let's say we're trying to give up caffeine, or a lot of times people talk about when they're trying to quit smoking, how they put on extra weight. And it's not because they are requiring more food, but because they've developed a habit of the hand-to-mouth sort of satisfying thing. And so instead of doing this with the cigarette, they oftentimes do something with food. It's the same action, that's a habit, and a craving that they have, but instead of using a cigarette, which is the worst case scenario, they they end up fulfilling that feeling of need with food. So oftentimes people who are trying to quit smoking cigarettes end up putting on weight. Same thing applies for emotional drama or emotional pain or something that's stressful. If we haven't learned other means of dealing with stress, then food is the thing that we just generally turn to, because again, it goes back to our food story. Maybe that's the way we have associated stress or pain in the past as we were kind of being raised and how we were being conditioned around food. And of course, that naturally falls into place as we become adults. So there are a couple of triggers that I wanted to kind of read off for you guys and explain to you that are false signs of hunger, and see if maybe you can identify with a couple of these, or maybe you're dealing with those things now, and how it is that we can kind of do some things to change the trigger so that we can find an alternative other than food to satisfy a feeling that we're having. So there's just a few here. I think there's like 4 or 5. One is called teeth hunger, and it's basically just the desire that we have to chew something. Maybe you're having a stressful situation and you kind of are a jaw clencher, and so you feel like you need to eat something just to satisfy that sort of feeling that you have or trigger that you have where you're dealing with stress. So you might deal with stress around your jaw area. So when that area gets tense, then you have that sensation of wanting to eat something. That's a very normal thing, but can kind of throw you off track if you're trying to do something like fast and do a truly clean fast, or you are the type of person who feels like you go off track when something happens in your life that you're feeling out of control with. So just kind of be aware of some of the things and some of the habits that you have when you're in a stressful situation, and see if maybe teeth hunger is one of those things that kind of leads you to the point of falling off a plan that you have that's working successfully for you momentarily while you're going through a stressful situation. Another one is that mouth hunger. And again, remember I told you about the smoking. I use that example of just having the hand to mouth sort of habit where you feel like you just have to put something in your mouth. Not necessarily a physiological need for nutrition, but just a habit that you have or a satisfaction that you're trying to feed that really has nothing to do with sustainability and nutrition, but really is just a feeling that you feel like you need to satisfy, and we generally do that with food. Another one is mind hunger, and in one of the courses that I teach, the alumni course, we talk about the appetite expectancy hormone and how there's a certain time of day that our bodies just expect to be fed because of maybe a pattern in which that we have been feeding ourselves. So if you are from the eat every 2 hours club, like most of us women are, then you'll recall that if you're on a eat every 2 hour sort of system with your food, lo and behold, at 1 hour and 45 minutes, you feel like you're going to starve to death pretty much every cycle of your meals that you have planned throughout the day. And that's because your hormones are expecting you to feed it at certain intervals throughout the day. Change up those intervals, and then those appetite expectancy hormones will shift with you if you can kind of grin and bear it through the change. And so I know for myself, when I am breaking my fast at a certain time every day, my body's the same way, and I get a signal that it's just about time to eat, and I look at my clock, and lo and behold, I'm usually about 15 minutes away from breaking my fast, and you get that sort of panic feeling like if I don't eat soon, I'm going to starve to death. And we all know we're not going to starve to death, but it's just our hormones letting us know that X amount of time has passed, and it's usually, when it's about time to be fed, and it gives you a signal so that you remember to feed yourself. So you can set that appetite expectancy hormone to work in your favor with consistently feeding yourself at a certain time of the day. And then there is the thirst hunger. So, we've seen the posts on Instagram and Facebook where, they say, something along the lines, are you really hungry or are you just thirsty? And oftentimes when we get that sensation of dehydration or the thirst sensation, and we think or associate that with a feeling of hunger just because it's really just a need for our bodies to have something. And so oftentimes if you get a feeling of hunger, instead of going for food, try substituting that with a glass of water and just put those hunger hormones at bay for a little while and see if you can just get yourself to the next point of your day without having to eat, if you have a schedule that you're following. And then the last one is fatigue. I know that, with being in the health and fitness industry for so long, I always felt like if I felt fatigued, maybe I had a really good workout or something, that feeding fatigue was the thing that was just going to give me that burst of energy again. And so oftentimes, and I even know as a mom, with my kids, if they complain about being tired, I'm like, go get something to eat. Or, we always say too, I'm bored, go get something to eat. I'm hungry, go get something to eat. And we never really spend a comfortable amount of time in the state of hunger. And if you've taken my course, or if you hung around here on Facebook or YouTube with me for any amount of time, you know that I love the phrase that I've developed called hungry is where the magic happens. And if you really understand the physiological changes that take place and the good that is happening for your body when you truly allow it to be in a state of hungry, and how, when you're in a truly fasted state, that really does provide an amazing opportunity for our body to just heal itself and to utilize some of those fat stores as we have as a means to energize our system. We're a society that is very comfortable with overfeeding and using food as a way to pacify us, to pass time, to ease stress, to control guilt, to reward ourselves. Oftentimes it's used as a discipline tool, and we never really just understand and appreciate what it means to feel hungry. And hungry is a really positive place for our bodies to be. And if we can understand how powerful the state of hungry is, we can really turn that around into a tool or a means in which we can actually gain control of our lives and learn how to deal with even some of these emotional situations that we're in, because we're not going to just stuff the emotions down with a bunch of unnecessary food that snowballs into these other issues that we have to deal with, which generally lead us into deeper emotional situations that we're not happy with. But if we can put ourselves in a position of confidence, knowing that hungry is really where the magic happens, oftentimes those negative feelings that we develop from stuffing away emotion can really turn into some really positive experiences and really make you feel empowered and control over some situations in your life that in other times might seem very uncontrollable. And one of the things that I absolutely love about the opportunity that I'm so blessed with to help women get through some of these situations is not the obvious, not the weight loss or the drop in clothing size, but it's often the emotional and mental transformation that women make when they realize just in fact how much control we have over our life and how much control we can have over some stressful situations and how much control we can have over what it is that we really say we want in our life if we can learn to manage some of these emotional situations that we've been in. And the best way to do that is to not feed them, but to starve them. And let our bodies and our hearts and our minds kind of work together in conjunction as a healing opportunity. And when you're in that state of hunger and when you're in that truly fasted state, and another saying that we love to say in our courses is that when we're in that truly fasted state, we get that energized sense of calm. And there's something amazing about being completely energized and ready to face your day, yet mentally and emotionally very calm about everything that's going on in your life. And that can really only happen when you're in a nice fasted state. I mean, there's plenty of research and history out there to prove what fasting can do. Many people have done this for centuries. Religions do it. Groups of people do it. in very long periods of time as well, as a time to just become very centered in their life, to be connected more spiritually, to do amazing things for their health, their overall wellness, and being in that fasted state is exactly what that is supposed to do for us. And so I urge you to pay attention to those times in your life when things don't go as planned, things might be a little bit stressful, and see if you can catch yourself when one of those triggers hits. And stop yourself in your tracks. And instead of going into what we would normally do as a society and feeding or stuffing down some of those things that we don't necessarily want to deal with, and really facing them head on, and instead put yourself in a position where you can heal and maybe be more in tune or aware of what's going on in your life by being in a fasted state. You might find that you'll develop some tools that will help you in all areas of your life emotionally and be able to healthfully get through some situations that you might not have been able to handle in the past. So hunger is a great place to be. Make sure that when you're feeling those things come on that are stressful, stop yourself, put some new boundaries and triggers up that will allow you to take a different course than the norm and experience what it's like to get yourself through a stressful situation or an emotional situation without stuffing feelings away and letting them rise to the surface and seeing what a really good fasted opportunity can do for you to get you through those times in your life. So I am going to jump on here and see who's here. Welcome everybody, and see if I have any questions I can answer. Patty, welcome from the UK in my September class. Cassandra, hello. September group. Londa, welcome. Patricia from Spokane. This week's chats have been so on target for me. Patricia, I'm so happy to hear that. Gwen, thanks for this topic. Today was a tough day emotionally, and I broke my fast earlier than I planned. I'm okay with it, though, and we'll regroup tomorrow. I also ate sugar today. Oh well. Okay, so tomorrow, Gwen, why don't you regroup and prove to yourself that you can get through this and have a really good fast and stay away from sugar purposely, and then build that mental and emotional confidence for yourself. Tori from San Antonio, welcome. Cynthia, hello. Linda from Canada. I'm the most recent alumni group, which I'm loving. Oh, awesome, Linda. Can't wait for you to get through the whole course. Lena was very conscious of the ghrelin today. Oh my gosh, was it growling like crazy? I love when my ghrelin is active. Linda, love your haircut. Oh, thanks, Linda. Londa, hungrier more often now than I have been in years, trying to embrace it. Been doing 20-hour fast 4 to 5 times a week. I'm so proud of myself for controlling my eating this way. It's empowering. Yes, Lana, and I'm glad you're connecting the empowering part of it because that is so true. Kristen from Indiana, great topic. Oh, good. So glad you're liking it. Lisa from Kansas, hello. Angela from Maryland, 8-12 class. So good to have you guys here. Okay, cool. Let's see who's over here on Facebook tonight. So glad to have Facebook Live. Maxine, hello. Me and my mom will be joining soon. We're excited. Oh, Maxine, I'm so happy for you guys. Are you going to be joining the 11-4 course, hopefully? Because that'll be the last one we do this year. Kathleen from Canada, hello. Connie, hello. Yvonne, glad you're here too. Cheryl from Ontario, welcome. Yvonne, this is my subject. Is it your subject because you're an emotional eater, or is it your subject because you're not an emotional eater? I know I have been in the past, and I try not to be. I think I still am a little bit now, but I try to catch myself before it goes too far. Linda in Colorado, I took the September 9th course in the alumni group now. Thanks, I'm learning so much. Awesome, Linda, good to have you here in both. Janetta, hello. Melanie, hello from North Carolina. Cheryl, can't wait for the November course to start. I need to learn how to deal with food and situations to stop this downward spiral that I'm on and have been struggling with my entire life. Well, Cheryl, the good thing about joining the course is you'll know that you're not alone, and that a lot of women are getting control of it through the course. So you're doing a great thing for yourself. Kathleen, I am a procrastinator, and it's through the IF journey that I realized when I move away from the task at hand, my brain starts to shift looking for food. I've got to find a way to deal with both. Okay, so Kathleen, I've noticed that about myself too. When I have something on my to-do list that I don't want to do, I generally find myself in the kitchen. So So that's one of those things I have to really watch is for myself as well, and just make sure that when I have stuff on my to-do list that I don't want to do, I get that done first, and then just get it out of the way so that I don't end up finding myself in the kitchen all day. Romy, I didn't know why I craved ice cream after a stressful situation, and specifically after going to the dentist. One day in my 40s, I remembered that my grandfather used to buy ice cream or shaved ice after going to the dentist. That's so funny. Yeah, it's funny how we associate those things. Gina, this week's videos have been so good. I just went back and rewatched all the lessons in the alumni course. I can't say enough great things about the course. Oh, Gina, thanks so much for saying that. Penny, I struggle when going out to eat somewhere and there is a choice of sugar. It's like my brain leaves my head and I eat it. I'm hoping the November 4th course helps me with this. It will. It will for sure. Let's see. Nan, can't hear you. Nan, check the volume on your phone. Yvonne, I am an emotional eater, but IF has forced me to control it. Yeah, you know, that I think is the great thing about intermittent fasting, which I love, is when you set up, and this is what I always say, just make 2 choices every day, right? How long will you fast? Just preset the time. And then how well will you feast? So if you guys have a designated time in which you're just not going to eat, and you stick hard and fast to that, it makes all of this control stuff almost become second nature, because you just have set times that you're following, like appointments for yourself. So it really does help a lot. Sherry, April course and alumni, and Nan. Okay, you can hear me now. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. Renee, what fruit-infused water will fruit-infused water break a fast? Yes, they'll break a clean fast for sure. Yes. Lisa, when I was in college, when I was stressed, I didn't eat. Now at 50, I'm stressed and can't eat enough. That's probably a hormone shift. Lizette from Austin, welcome. One of my favorite Texas cities. Angela from Maryland, 812 class. Awesome. Okay, so emotional eating is very common, especially with women. I don't know why, probably just because we're just emotional creatures by nature. Pay attention is the biggest advice I can give you. One of the things that happens when we are in a stressful situation is we're so focused on the situation that we become very unconscious about the rest of our life. And so I've talked and shared before about when my kids used to get home from school, and I'm a very organized A-type personality kind of girl. And when there were backpacks everywhere and shoes everywhere and kids crying about homework and I need a snack and I was super stressed out and the situation was out of my control, I could literally stand in my pantry and eat an entire bag of goldfish and down a couple Diet Cokes and not even realize what I was doing. Like out of body experience. And that's what happens when we are stressed out, especially if we're those kind of people who are really emotionally attached to food when we're in those situations. So if you know that about yourself, be aware of it and then do some things or put some things in place that can kind of stop you in your tracks or trip you up so that you don't end up in a pantry eating a bag of goldfish and downing a couple Diet Cokes, not even realizing that you ate anything. And I think one time I did that, my kids were like all mad at me because I ate their goldfish and I didn't even realize that I was eating it. And that's just because I was so focused on what it was I was stressed out about that I wasn't focused on what I was actually doing. So be conscious all the time throughout your day. Don't check out. That's the biggest thing I think that we as women do. And I was talking with someone today about even working out. Like, there's no reason why you should ever be bored during a workout unless you're mentally just not in your workout. And if you're mentally not in your workout, then you're sort of cheating yourself because you're not connecting the activity that you're doing with your brain. And do you have the right form? Are you using the right muscles? Are you breathing correctly? Is your heart rate right? You won't know any of those things because you're thinking about picking the kids up from school or what you have to get at the dry cleaners or the fact that you ran out of milk this morning or someone didn't put the new toilet paper roll in the toilet paper thing or whatever. Like, you need to be conscious in your life. And we as women tend to check out. And so check back in with yourself. Do, like I always recommend, have that really intimate relationship with yourself, and then make sure that you're listening to the signs and signals that your body is sending you. And if you feel stressed out, deal with it. Don't shove it away with food. Don't try to quiet it down. that quieting down is a temporary thing, and those emotions end up building up, and they're going to come out in a very negative way. So let's just deal with it head on and not use food as a way to control what it is that we need to just learn how to control. Let me answer these last couple questions that came in, and then I will let you guys go for the evening. So the November 4th class is completely different from the mini course. No, the November 4th class we're calling it a mini course because we're going to shorten it so that we don't go through the whole Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. So we're just going to kind of take out a little bit of the fluff and just condense it down so you don't have to be in the class for so long, because we know that the holidays is a really busy time for a lot of people. And so a couple things are going to happen. You're going to sign up for the course, and then you're going to be so busy you don't finish it, or you're going to forget about it, or whatever. So we want to make it short and sweet, get you in, get you the information, get you practicing, get you in the Facebook group, get you support system, and then we're going to deal with managing the holidays after Thanksgiving, going into the Christmas and New Year and Hanukkah and whatever else everybody else is celebrating during the months of November, December, and January. So we're going to short it out so that you guys have a better opportunity at completing the course and being focused on it and present in it before everything starts going haywire. And so you can use the tools that you're learning through the course and take them with you to the cookie party and the Christmas party and the whatever else party where there's going to be a bunch of stuff that we probably shouldn't be partaking in. So we're going to make you strong before we hit into all of those things. So the mini course is going to start on November 4th. The alumni course will start on October 28th. If on October 28th you are in your 3rd or 4th week of the current beginner course, you will be eligible to sign up for the alumni course. So make sure that you get that link from Kara. She'll be sending out an email, and that way you can get in before we close it out. And then these 2 courses will be the last courses that we have for 2017. We're going to take a break. We're developing an intermittent feasting cookbook, and we're doing a couple other things for you guys. So we won't be running courses for the month of December, so we can get some other stuff up and running and spend some time with our families as well. So get in now if you can. And if you have travel plans and you think you won't be able to start exactly on the 4th, that's okay. We'll at least have the link registration, and then you can jump in with the group when it better serves you. It's all online, so it's done at your own pace, and it's better to be in than have to wait till we relaunch it again in January, because it won't be a mini course in January. It'll be a full-fledged course again. Okay, let me see what we got over here. Diane, what do you think of statins? I'll have to do a whole video on that. When I was in college, okay, so I read all those. I'll have to do another video on that because I like to kind of keep it on topic so that I can get you guys out of here and I don't keep you too long on the videos. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good night. We'll close out this week tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Keep your fingers crossed. It will be live on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Always feel free to leave comments or questions for me if you're catching this on the recording. I go back and review those the next day, so I will definitely look for your comment and make sure that I say hello and thanks for being here. So have a good night, you guys.